Hi, Leather Rokk here, and this is Cassie the garden cat. I'd show you Tabby Boy, but he's under the bed. Uh, while we're here, first of all, welcome to my live stream. Second of all, I'm going to try to hopefully get what I'm about to do in frame as best as I could. Uh, since we're in a new era at the moment, I guess I need to do a set change. I guess you can tell that this was one of the Trump banners, and this is a flag banner, and I'm really not sure what to do with it. I'm checking to make sure the view's okay. Uh, I'm not going to do anything disrespectful because that's not how I roll, but I'm not sure how I want to hang it, so I'm just going to hang it down for the moment. So, oh, and I still have the other banner just so you see. Hey, Emmanuel, how you doing? You want to know why I'm so late going on today? I smoked a little bit of weed. Okay, then I went and had dinner. I don't like to film before having dinner because when I eat, I feel fat, and then I don't feel like filming. So I ate, and then got kind of tired, so I decided to lay down, and I fell asleep. Next thing you know, I wake up. It's like after 10 o'clock, I'm thinking, and I don't have any makeup on, all right? I just have my skincare on and a little bit of foundation. So I had to do the rest of my makeup on, and then I had to pick out something to wear. And by that time, you see how late it got. And then I was trying to do something with both cats, and then Tabby Boy hid underneath my bed. As you could see by the cover picture, I was trying to do something with both cats today, but it's really hard to get them to cooperate. But I really, today, I almost was going to just go ahead and post something that I'd already filmed, but I realized that I didn't want to post another makeup tutorial. I really wanted to talk about some things that I had to get off my chest with respect to this whole election season and how friends are treating each other and how families treating each other and how I've been getting along with my mother lately. And it's just really bothers me. And maybe this is happening to some of you too. My mother is a pretty dyed in the wool Democrat, okay? But she's a person that says that she votes on the issue. She's not, she's not afraid to split her ticket if she really likes a person. She'll vote for whoever they are, no matter what the party is. But she and I cannot agree on Donald Trump. And because we haven't had our regular, we used to have access to any network we wanted when we had full use of all of our television, our cable TV and stuff. You can get access to anything you wanted, but now that we have not had cable TV since like early March, we just had on-demand news videos on YouTube that my mother can access from Comcast, most of which almost 95% of them are very liberal, Democrat, MSNBC, CNN, uh, liberal media. Almost nothing from Fox News Channel, and Fox News Channel apparently has gotten more and more liberal lately. So my mother has had all this total brainwashing anti-Trump thing. And so now that the election looks like it is not gone in our favor, it's, yeah, and I agree with you, and I accept that that's a fact of life, Emmanuel. But my mother, now, whenever I say anything about how I believe that the election was stolen, I believe the election's fraud, then she looks at me like she thinks I'm a member of some kind of cult. She thinks that I'm on the verge of overthrowing the government. Okay. She thinks that all of us Trump supporters are unhinged. She thinks that just because we're not happy with how things turned out, and because most of us who are displeased with how things turned out, believe that things turned out the way they did through fraudulent means. And the very act of voicing this to her, it's like those are words that just gets her all riled up, like that's like I just called a black man a word that whitey's not supposed to say. Uh, you know, uh, so I can't believe it. All of a sudden, it's not an all of a sudden thing. It's just been since a couple of days before the inauguration, she has been this way. And the thing is, it's not like nobody was talking politics and I just happened to bring it up. This will be after she has been watching a whole series of videos all on one subject, all from, MSNBC, all the different mainstream media. And I'm not trying to start fights. I'm really not, but I cannot keep my mouth shut. What am I supposed to say? It seems like the only way that we can get along is for me to just go out of my way to find nice things to say about Joe Biden. I'm having to find myself, like, if I find him even remotely attractive, I have to go and mention that I think he's cute. I have to say, oh, how lucky Jill Biden is to have him, and she has such a pretty dress on, and oh, I think it's great that after having the two dogs are going to adopt a shelter cat, which of course I do think is wonderful being a cat person. But I mean, I'm having to totally act two-faced just to get along and say all this happy stuff about, anything that I can remotely think is good about the fact that he's not president. I'm having to bring up just to get along. And I'm tired of being made, as a Trump supporter, to feel like we are beyond hope, and since we have an allegiance to this man, there's something wrong with us, and we have to change our way of thinking, because obviously, since we have an allegiance to a man who only got 1 year as presidency, then we can't be trusted because maybe we want to overthrow the government or something. It's ridiculous. It's really got me. It's really bothered me. Because this isn't just anybody. This is my mother, and I think it's important to have a good relationship with those that you love, with your family members, and especially my mother is almost 80 years old. I don't want to be an asshole. Let me get a tissue. Hold on. I can find anything here. Yeah. Yeah, she gets inflamed about this, or I'll go in her room to put my wet clothes in. I'm doing a lot of laundry lately. I came into the good fortune of finding somebody. We had neighbors. We have a whole lot of people that get moved in and out next door that I believe are under some kind of a social service program. There's a church that's trying to keep people from going back to jail. So they have these different kind of counseling programs, and they move families in. Not usually families. Usually it's single men that are kind of pretty scary looking. I wouldn't want to run into in an alleyway, even though they may be perfectly nice people. But if they're in and out of prison, I don't think so. So a family or some people moved out in the dead of night, and there are these plastic bags which I wouldn't have thought to open up, but some crack had opened them up, and I saw they were full of clothes. So after she was done looking through, I went and saw that there was a bunch of kids' clothes that looked like they were the kind of kid size that would fit me. So I was washing out a whole lot of things. Uh, so you know what? So what? Politicians do use people for their votes. So what? And if so, that's not the first time I was used for my vote or for anything else, any superficiality. That's part of life. In the grand scheme of things, that's not going to bother me. I donated money to his campaign twice, too. I donated money to Rudy Giuliani's campaign when he was running for president. Remember when he was running for president? And what am I going to cry? Oh, I wish I had my money back. I could have bought a bunch of junk jewelry on Wish.com with it, or I could have bought a sack of weed with it or something. You know, in the grand scheme of things, I know that that's not a big deal. It's not like I could have paid any of my bills or anything. Oh, hello, Cassie. Pardon me, I'm so thirsty. Mm. I'm glad I let that cool off. It was so hot when I poured it. So, yeah. I even found a little miniature, I guess it's supposed to be a jewelry box. It's has like a little chest of drawers. It's supposed to have 4 drawers, but I only found 3, but they're zebra stripe. And I figured I could either find the last one or I can zebra stripe anything. But anyway, the pieces of that are drying. Yeah. And politics is a very ugly, violent, well, not a violent game. It can be, but politics is a very ugly game. Look, I remember the things that George W. Bush and his opponents were saying to each other. And look how polite George W. Bush was, so especially compared to how politics is played now. And it's really sad that the Bushes didn't get along with Trump, that they rubbed each other the wrong way. That is sad. It's always sad when not all your friends get along. Not that I'm implying that I'm friends with anybody. I've met any of these people. I haven't. But still, yeah, I would not. There's a whole lot of reasons why I would never want to run for office. You have to have an extremely thick skin, and people will. And imagine if I was running for office and I had somebody like Donald Trump as my opponent, and he found some nasty nicknames to call me and focus on whatever he thought my Achilles heel was. It's a very bloody sport. And if you're not absolutely serious about winning, and then when you're trying to go about winning, you have to decide what kind of a campaign you're going to choose and how low you're going to go, how nasty you're willing to be. And if you don't seem like you're running an aggressive enough campaign, like with Rudy Giuliani, when he didn't even really try to campaign until the state of Florida, and by ignoring those earlier states, I don't know. I am only an armchair uh, political strategist, but it seemed like he didn't seem like he was wanted it bad enough. And it's sick to say, because for somebody who was so tough on the war on terror, he was so tough as America's mayor, as the mayor of New York City, and in his leadership after 9/11, he was a real ass kicker. And I would have thought that as a campaigner, he would have been more aggressive. And it's sad that he didn't, because I think he would have been a great president. But still, I think we got a wonderful 4 years for Donald Trump. And I think it's sickening we didn't get him for 8. And of course, right away, it looks like Joe Biden is going to undercut as many of Donald Trump's things right away. And it's sad. I'm worried about what he's doing on day 2. He wants to reverse the Islamic travel pause. I won't call it the Muslim ban. The only thing good I can see, oh, I agree. Michelle Obama has always been a very lovely lady. I hate it when some people say nasty things about her looks, or they try to say things about her origins, and I think that's totally uncalled for. Even if she was transgender, it's not necessarily to say things derisively about a person. People are who they are, and she's always been very, very attractive as far as I'm concerned. She gets a lot of good designers to uh, design for her. Oh, I think it's really a crying shame that Melania Trump didn't have more people to offer to design for her. She could have been on so many fashion magazines. Every other first lady is on so many fashion magazines. Look at our VP. Look at all the covers that she's going to be in. She just did that Vogue cover. No, all the people, there's a lot of rude people that are posing the rumors about Michelle Obama really being Michael and having used to be a guy. And I've seen the supposed evidence, but I'm sure that it's not true. And it's just people are being rude. You know how people can just doctor up pictures and be nasty? Well, people do that sometimes. And I'll laugh along, but I never share those things because I don't want to be rude. And plus, I know people who are trans and they can't help being who they are. And to be used for something like that, that's basically just gender dysphoria. And to be used as a punchline is really mean to do to people. And I won't play a part in that. But yeah, people do sometimes say that about Michelle Obama. So, and I like the purple. Of course, why wouldn't I? So, I wanted to show one of the things that I got that I rescued from the garbage yesterday. See that cat shirt? Oh, something's pulled in my hair. So I know that, well, people have been saying that for months. And I know it's rude, but people do say that. And it's easy to find a less than flattering picture. I mean, we all have unflattering pictures. I know I do. So, but yeah, people do say those things. And the thing is, it's ridiculous. We know enough of our history. I mean, hello, where do your children come from? So we know that anybody that's a thinker knows that that's ridiculous. So, all right, I have to decide how to pose my flags now. I'm really struggling with that. I don't want to do anything disrespectful. If they were on a pole, I'd probably have them half-mast for quite a long time, but they're not on poles. And I thought of putting them upside down, but the thing is, an upside down flag is a sign of distress. If that was out of doors, that would indicate something like a hostage situation or being taken over by a foreign government or something. And the last thing I would want to do is get swatted by having people think that I was being taken over or there was a home invasion or something. Though, speaking as somebody who's been through 2 different home invasions, neither of my assailants bothered to take the flags and put them upside down. It's not generally something people think of doing. Even though I could tell you about some things that you probably wouldn't think people would take the time doing during commission of violent acts, but that's really not the subject of today's video. I mean, really, the subject of today's video was dealing with people with political differences who get absolutely almost enraged if you don't say practically, oh, I'm so glad that Joe Biden's our president, and I can't imagine why I was ever so crazy as to think that it was fraud. And, Dominion was really a groovy software for voting. And, it would be great if we all used it because there's nothing like stealing. I mean, getting extra votes the other side. You just give them a leg up because reparations and all that, because Black Lives Matter and all that hippie horseshit. No, I can't say those things. I can't. And even though I know it's better to get along than to be right. Oh, speak of which, one of the things that I totally missed out on because I was doing show prep for today's show. Right now, Tony Robbins, the guy that got Oprah Winfrey to walk on coals, the king of the self-help guys, the one that has these big, huge stadiums full of people attending his seminars, pay thousands of dollars to go for a week, and he changes their life through, I guess, a combination of mass hypnosis and self-help, motivational speaking, and whatever other things I can't really describe adequately because I have not been one to invest thousands of dollars in one of his things, even though they seem like an awful lot of fun. But right now, he is doing something that's free to everybody. And I wanted to take advantage of it myself, but I haven't done it because I've been too busy. Right now, I have been doing so much laundry. But let me see if I wrote it down because I think I did. And if I did, I wanted to show everybody. So bear with me while I look and see if I can find it. This is something that was really special. Uh, and I know I wrote it down someplace. I absolutely know. The problem is I don't have one central area that I write things down. Yeah. I think Michelle and Melania are both absolutely knockouts, and I wouldn't say no to either one of them. They're beautiful, and there's nothing wrong with acknowledging that people are beautiful. That said, now my mother has seen all the footage. She actually watched the whole ceremony on the different YouTube videos that Comcast gives you live. You can actually speak into the remotes. You can speak things live into them, or you can call them up. Oh, who's this? Oh, really? What? Look what I have. Tabby boy. Look what I have. Where's my tabby? Tabby boy. Alright. I'm gonna get my tabby boy. Hold on. Alright. Oh, no, we're not. No, we're not. Try to get under my bed. Oh, you always try to do that. And no, I'm tired of that. Oh, you always try to do that. And he's all muscle. Tabby boy's all muscle. Yes. Oh, can you? Oh, you're just saying Michelle Obama is more the type of woman that I prefer. Yes. Oh, that's fine. Well, oh, look at my tabby boy. I have to say, when it comes to kitties, when it comes to kitties, tabby boy's the kind of kitty I prefer. But you know what? Oh, if I say that, then somebody else is going to get real mad at me. So I don't want to get kitties jealous. Oh, oh, what's going on? Oh, look what I'm doing. Look what I'm doing. Wow. Oh, I want you to see a feat that didn't used to be able to be done by the likes of mankind. Look at this. Witness this. Oh, yes. Look at this. I'm two-handed. I'm two kitties. I'm well endowed. I'm endowed with pussycats. Oh, yes, I am. Oh. What do you think? Oh, what do you think? I got two kitties. Calm down. Oh, be quiet. Just be quiet. Oh. Just one? Oh my God. Only for the past year. Oh, you want to watch some kitty on kitty action? Cassie, what's up? Yeah, if she's in the kitchen and I'm in my room, I play talk radio from like 12 noon on. Like noon to 3 is Rush Limbaugh, Monday to Friday. And 3 to 6 is Sean Hannity. And 6 o'clock is Mark Levin. He always starts off with the Star Spangled Banner, which of course my mother thinks is great. Everybody thinks that's great. But it seems like all these guys, she disagrees with them. She thinks that and I said, well, that's because you're a Democrat. Of course you're not going to like them. Then she doesn't like their attitudes because everybody yells, everybody gets all passionate and excited and things. And when you're talking about something that you're really, really, really riled up, of course you're going to raise your voice a little. Does that mean that we're all crazy because we're passionate about things? Does that mean that we're idiots? Does it mean that we're not nice people because we really care about something? So, I mean, okay, you want a nice president. Jimmy Carter was a nice president. What did he accomplish? Aside from doing the things. Ooh, what's going on? Whoops, sorry about that. I just dropped my computer. What's going on here? Oh, who is smacking who? Who is smacking who? That wasn't nice. That wasn't nice. Smacking is not nice. But and he smacks back. She starts it. Cassie starts it. Oh, yes, you do. You start it. Why? Why are you starting it? Why are you starting it? Yes, my mother and I get into it over the election. She thinks that it was not election fraud. She thinks that Trump lied. She thinks that today he admitted he lied, or she thinks that because the idiots on CNN call him a liar, then she thinks that he's a liar. She just parrots the talking points that we see on TV. And it's really hard to agree with somebody that's saying these things. And when I talk about Dominion, then she makes it like I'm crazy for believing this. Then because of the stuff about QAnon and the child molesters and the cannibals and stuff, and so she wants to know, you don't believe in that crazy stuff, do you? I says, no, I know people that do. And I did lose a couple of friends over that. There was somebody on Facebook and who lives in California who does dog rescue. I won't name her names, but she had lied to me and said that she was going to send me a bunch of weed. She never did. It's like she forgot. Maybe she decided she changed her mind because she thought it was too dangerous to do it. I can understand changing your mind when you think about the idea of sending something through the mail and the repercussions of that. I can understand chickening out and maybe being too afraid to say, come right out and say, you know what, I decided not to do this. But don't lie about it. But then she and I ended up having a falling out over this whole QAnon bullshit. She was going all this stuff. She was sending me links to these different YouTube videos that were on and on and on and on and on. So boring. I really didn't get the point to what she was to these videos. And the whole point of it was apparently about these people that think that there are cannibals and child molester rings or something. And even though, yes, there are people that do child exploitation, especially in California, anything involving kids in movies and stuff, there's got to be a small percentage of people, unfortunately, in anything. But I mean, just like you could say that about Catholic churches too. But when I wasn't acting like I agreed with her, the things she was saying, then she said that she didn't have time to argue with me and she deleted me and blocked me. And I don't understand. I'm sorry if you're going to be acting absolutely crazy. There's only so much I can get. I can, I can get along to a very minimal degree. But if you're too crazy, I can't deal with it. I know what it's like to deal with people who have genuine mental illness, and there's nothing funny about it. It's draining. It's really tiring because I know what it's like to have times in my life when I actually had to uh, yes, I believe in small government. The bigger government is, the more expensive it gets. And you create bureaucracy and all these extra middlemen, these extra layers of people that, while it's good for those people because you give them a job pushing pencils or beans or doing whatever, scratching their butt, but this bureaucracy raises taxes, except for the people that pay no taxes at all because they're the very, 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 very poorest. The absolute poorest aren't affected by these things. And so, sure, if they're voters that everybody wants free stuff, sure. And this whole thing of making sure that no more college debt, that all the people's student loan is forgiven. Well, I guess it's great if you just took out a loan, especially if it's a loan that you couldn't really afford. But this is a slap in the face to everybody that went about things the right way. All the people that could have gotten a 4 year Harvard degree or another similar Ivy League school, but instead decided to get a community college, get something they could afford, worked to put themselves through school so that they wouldn't be saddled with some kind of a loan that they had to pay, that after a couple of years, then the interest, you have to start paying it. And a student loan was the one kind of debt that you could not get rid of. You could not discharge it through bankruptcy. It was a kind of debt that you were saddled with till the day that you were 6 feet under. And now President Obama, I mean, Biden, damn, President Biden. It's going to take a while for me to get used to saying that. He wants to just wipe it off. So, okay. So that's great. They don't have to pay their loans. That means they can really party through high school, well, college, wherever. Really enjoy their life. Maybe get some extra cocaine with the money that they're not going to be spending on their student loans. Uh, but what about, so who benefits from this? The taxpayers are going to be paying for this, and the companies that issue these loans, they're going to be paid off. So the banks, they're going to get paid off. So lawyers are always paid. Lawyers have to be paid first, right? So let's see: lawyers, banks, the colleges themselves, all those industries that are affiliated with the colleges, I suppose. But it's this big corrupt system. And then what about the job skills of the kids should they graduate? Are there really jobs, or are they getting uh, diplomas in gender studies or something like that, or ethnic fill in the blank studies, or what it means to be, or can you get trans race? Like, well, hey, maybe you can. Rachel Dolezal did it. I mean, she was president of her local NAACP, and growing up, she was this red-haired Irish girl, as white as me. Tabby boy, what are you doing? Excuse me. What's the matter? You want to go out? You want to go out? I open the door for you. Oh, now what you doing? Oh, look where I got Big Kitty. I got. Oh, let me pull my dress off. I got Big. Oh, yes. I really wanted to go on much earlier today. I was hoping that this was the right thing to do. I could have posted a makeup tutorial, but really, like some of the this stuff that I want to talk about, I don't want to talk too late in the season. Right now the election thing is still on everybody's mind, but after a while, there's going to be some people that are going to be saying that maybe it's getting too late to talk about these things, but I don't know that for 75 million people, it's not going to be too late to talk about this stuff. I think that the government is not our parental substitute. I think that, yes, the government should be responsible for certain basic services such as national defense, such as infrastructure, things like police and fire, things like social security, definitely. And you notice Trump never advocated for taking that away. But the same token, there's always going to be, when you have welfare programs and things, there's always going to be a certain percentage of the population that doesn't want to work for things. And if you give things to them free and you make it too easy for them to survive, they are not going to have any incentive to work. And when you have things like unemployment benefits that are more paying people more than they would be paid to work, what is any intelligent person going to do? They're going to say, screw working, I'm going to take the benefits and I'm going to sit on my butt. And for some people, that's actually happening. And I understand. I would do what is efficient also. Oh, what are you doing? Oh, what are you doing now? I see all this paper that's down here. What are you doing with all this paper? If you leave me on this paper, I will be very upset. I will be so upset. You want to know how upset I'm going to be? Oh, I'm going to tell everybody about it. Yeah. What, tell you, boy? You want to go out? Yeah. Go. Open the door. Yeah, open the door. Go. Go, 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 go. There. He wanted the door open. I opened the door for him. Yeah. Her most of the clothes that I washed are in her room, and I think she's fine with me for the night. But I do want to show how this one T-shirt looks like the other things on my set. So I'm wondering if I should keep this sign as it is, or if I should take that down and just wash it and put it away for safekeeping. I actually have a little bit of sewing I have to do on it. I'll show you. I have to move my step stool carefully because I'm balancing this with one hand. But I tore this. As you can see here, I need to do some sewing. And I can tell by the smell, I need to wash that banner too. I've had a lot of, the cats have clawed at some. And actually, okay, let me explain to you what you're referring to. What Trump did was, those were tax breaks to corporations. And actually, a person such as myself, if he gave me a wad of money, that would be great, and I would be very appreciative if he did. However, I am not employing thousands and thousands of people. My life is not right now the success that I am able to influence that many people aside of for whoever watches my videos. Right now, I'm not moving heaven and earth. However, if I was a corporation and I was a job creator and I was building things and I was wheeling and dealing on a large scale, then I would be impacting so many other people's lives. And yes, I would be deserving of some kind of help from the government. If I'm just asking for help just so that I can pay my rent, while maybe I think I'm deserving and while that will help me, I'm just one person. What good is just helping a bunch of individual people? But if you're helping a corporation, you're helping thousands of individual people. You're helping families. You're helping towns. You're helping whole geographical areas. Think of the uh, big job creators in anybody's town. Think of close your eyes, take a dart and throw it on a map or wherever it hits. There are some main companies that are the big hirers, the big employers in any town. Think of how much of a treasure those companies are. They have invested money in infrastructure in towns. They have invested in people. The people are the most precious commodity most places have. You want to use the people that are there and not say, okay, I like this area because it has certain natural resources that I can exploit. But you know what? The kind of people that are here, they don't have the skills that I want, so I'm going to hire them. And you know what? I don't want any Americans. I'm going to hire a bunch of foreigners. Get whatever that visa is, import them. No, you want people that are uh, getting us our jobs. With that thought, I want to get some more tea. I'm thirsty. Want to come follow me in the kitchen? I did not want to get back out of bed. I put the covers over my head. I said, I could skip tonight's stream so easily, but I couldn't do that. I made a commitment to a schedule, and that said, I'm glad that for the stimulus checks that did get mailed to the people that got mailed and direct deposited to the people that got theirs. I think my mother got hers by direct deposit. So, but yes, I do believe in small government. There's not a whole lot of things in life that big governments fix. Government uh, has screwed up so many things. Just look at FEMA and look at the response to Hurricane Katrina. Ask the people that lived in New Orleans how well they thought of the government response. And the local people uh, in the government that were charged with taking care of the citizens, and by local I mean the mayors and I don't know if the whole governor screwed up or if it was just the mayor, but there was a lot of mismanagement involved and people died that shouldn't have died. It was really a shame. So, no, I do not believe that getting the federal government involved helps in a lot of ways. The government can free up resources at the federal level that can help the states. But no, I do believe that the more self-sufficient the individual is, the less you have to depend on government. The government, there's always strings attached. Uh, and as far as the middle class and poor people, so many people who really need things fall through the cracks and don't get it anyway because they don't have enough of the right kind of paperwork, or they're not in the tax rules because they haven't made enough to declare or to file. there's a lot of people. I have fallen through the cracks. I'm not eligible for any of those stimulus things. And you know what? How useful that would be. I could upgrade my equipment. And I could contribute something to our family's bills. Oh, that said, I am so happy that I have one less bill. My mother has one less bill. I was able, with the help of a friend, I was able to get the stuff out of my mother's storage. That my mom and dad had a bunch of stuff from the last couple of years of my father's life, actually stuff from my father's military service. And they were in this storage unit in Egg Harbor Township, New Jersey. And for the past couple of years, I've been trying to get it out, but I really don't know that many people that have vehicles that live around here. And I was thinking that my brother was going to do that because he has a lot of people that have cars and trucks, and he's always going different places with his friends. But that didn't happen. And meanwhile, my mother's paying a month every month. She's paying $60 for her storage fee. And I said, you know what? I'm going to try to get your stuff out. And every time I see a friend of mine, Pat the Patriot. Hello, 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 Pat the Patriot. Okay, Pat the Patriot, would you like to see? I still have Christmas tree up, and I'm gonna light it now. Well, here, see the Christmas tree, and I'm gonna light it just because I can. There. I know it's a little late, but happy holidays. I am really thirsty, and I'm gonna pour myself a cup of tea. I gotta take these down. They're starting to really get on people's nerves. So yeah, this political stuff is definitely causing strains on my family relationships. And this whole thing now, my mother's saying that she thinks that Rush Limbaugh is being really mean, and she thinks that he's saying all these things just because he knows he doesn't have very long to live, and so that he can afford to throw the screws in and to be backing Trump and everything. And she thinks that he's saying these things because he's dying. And she's saying that she doesn't find him funny anymore. That she used to watch Rush Limbaugh, listen to him because she thought he was funny. It was never because she agreed with him philosophy. I'll admit, when I started listening to Rush, it was because I found him entertaining. It wasn't because I agreed with him. But I also admit that the more I listened to him, I started agreeing with him. He was definitely part of my education in that way, my political education. But yeah, my mother gets very angry. Anything negative about Joe Biden, anything positive about Trump, anything about the positive uh, accomplishments of Trump's presidency, she will not acknowledge. They're not good enough. It's like the fact that he fast tracked the vaccines is not a very big deal. And it would take between 7 and 10 years for something like this. It's not a big deal. You know, if he cured cancer, he wouldn't get the respect that he deserves. You know that. And the fact that since Joe Biden has been inaugurated already, now we're not supposed to speak about this. We're not supposed to. We have to shut up, though. We can't mention anything about our feelings about the election. It's supposed to be kind of like when you find out that somebody's married, you find out that somebody's dead. Well, okay, they're married, they're dead. Okay, case closed. And so, but like Rush Limbaugh said today, 75 million people. We're not going away. we're not going to just forget about how we had strong feelings for somebody. And I wasn't a person that voted for Trump just because he was a Republican. I was a very enthusiastic voter. From the time he descended that escalator, he was my favorite. I was very enthusiastic and excited about him. I thought President Trump, I thought he was a very charismatic, exciting, uh, definitely educated, and I loved the way he thought on so many levels. I loved his America First philosophy. I loved his attitude toward China. I loved his attitude toward not getting unnecessarily involved in other countries' affairs. I mean, and as far as somebody who was a business developer, hello, Tiger, how you doing? And it gets really draining when I don't want to say I'm surrounded by people with whom I disagree, but people can be very passionate in their views, and I understand. I am too. I'm not going to stop feeling very passionately in support of Donald J. Trump. I am really quite concerned about the immediate future of the United States. The whole idea of us now having they could just hop over the fences now. The caravans have already started coming. All those unvettable people from all these exotic ports of call that are now emboldened to come on over here. The only good thing I can think about it is that I do have a couple of friends who live over in that part of the world who it might be a little bit easier for them to come here. And the thing is that they're people who are deserving anyway. They're not involved in any of that craziness. They don't belong in any of that dangerous religious stuff. Now you see, if we had a special way to make it easier for Christians who are already persecuted in Islamic countries, if the Christians can come over here more easily, that would be a way to safeguard people who are deserving of refugee status. And we're pretty much sure that they can't be terrorists since they are already believing in things that are very compatible with our American Constitution. They would have no shortage of churches to assimilate into. They wouldn't have any problems culturally. It's these people who live very different lifestyles that would not feel at home here. Why is it all these people, they come here supposedly complaining about they don't like the conditions where they live, they want a better life, so they come here and only to try to turn it back into the same conditions that they were leaving in the first place. I see this so much with these Muslims that go to Ireland, for instance. Okay, I can see that you want to live it. Things have gotten intolerable where you live, and for whatever reason, you cannot change things, improve things where you're at. So you go to some other place, so very culturally different from you, where you knew that there was a pre-existing, centuries-old, venerable traditions, and yet you do what you can, take advantage of whatever the freedoms are in this society. Uh, and even though you're this tiny little minority, you make it so that you become, there's more and more of you, and the greater a percentage of you, the more power you have. And then you change the pre-existing culture that there was. I don't understand what these Muslims want to do in Ireland. Why do they feel they're at home there? Now there's churches, Catholic churches are dying in Ireland, but you've got all these mosques that are coming up, and that's not right. What happened to where do the Irish go? Where do the white Irish people go? Where do the white people go? Where do people go? We have no place to go now. All this immigration, and Joe Biden is just going to let every Tom, Dick, Harry, Muhammad come over. You know, I fear for the future of my country. I am terrified about the future of the USA. You know, that's how I feel. That's how 75 million Americans feel right now. Excuse me. We are terrified. We are absolutely terrified. President Biden said as soon as he got into office, he was going to go about undermining President Trump's policies. That's exactly what he's been doing. Oh, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? She's getting at something. You're getting at something. Yes. President Biden said that he was going to go undoing everything that. Now, the thing is, they're running into a problem by stopping the wall building. There is already a contract for materials, labor, parts, and stuff for that wall. Federal government contract. The contract cannot be broken. That means the people still have to be paid. Oh, you're at work. Wow. Well, thank you for checking in. I didn't want to do this late, but I fell asleep after eating and all that stuff, so I couldn't not do this. So, and I had to bitch and moan about all this fighting and stuff. All the Trump haters are going crazy. And you see the lefties, they're still burning cities. Portland and Seattle, they're still burning things. And they're saying that they don't want Biden either. They don't want police. They don't want ICE. They're crazy. These people, they just want to destroy, overthrow everything. So you see, they get this. You know what they remind me of? Last time I was in Los Angeles, and the Lakers or whatever, one of the local Los Angeles games won. And instead of the local people being happy about it, they went on a rampage. And as they were coming from the Staples Center or whatever back toward Hollywood, where I was, they were burning police cars, pushing police cars. They were set a police car or two on fire. They were setting trash cans on fire, and their team won. Tell me, please, somebody explain to me the logic of this. How much crack do you have to smoke? How much malt liquor you have to drink where you protest that your team won? I liken that to what's going on with Antifa and Black Lives Matter movement right now in these left-run cities like Portland, Oregon, like Seattle, Washington, where I would feel terrified to be a citizen there. The people there is no law and order there at all. The people that are stuck there, they can't. Most people, I would like to move here. Me and my family, we would love to move. Moving is a hassle. Those people are stuck there. You can't call 911 when you're having a problem. Isn't Portland or Seattle one of the places where the police were actually chased out of their precinct? This does not happen in America, but it's happening. And people are tolerating it, and the left is tolerating it. And Black Lives Matter, Antifa is just the radical, armed, and not by cops, a wing of the DNC. But the Democrats don't see it, and the moderate Democrats, you don't want to see what's going on. And people like my mother, who I thought were reasonable Democrats, she's totally, she watches too much MSNBC videos. Rachel Maddow, all those people, Don Lemon, all those people on CNN, it's all they hate Trump all the time network. People watch this, and people really believe it. And I cannot get along with people that believe this stuff. And on Facebook, I'm not talking really to any of my Democrat friends. It's a shame. Like, there's this one girl who I am friends with, and I saw on her Facebook stories right away, it was something about Antifa just means anti-fascist. That was the headline on her Facebook story. And of course, I could not keep my mouth shut. I said, I have had run-ins with Antifa. I've been 3 inches from Antifa. I've seen them in action. I was with Proud Boys in Washington, D.C. versus Antifa, and I was very glad that I had the Metropolitan Police Department, Washington, D.C. police, that bodyguarded us Trump supporters when Antifa was literally stalking us, trying to find us alone so that they could bust heads, calling us racist and everything. I remember I remember them. I will never forget them. And there are so many people who think, oh, Antifa is just standing up to the Nazi-like behavior on the right. And obviously their actions are excused. And you have these busloads of people coming into these demonstrations from all over the country, and all these pallets of bricks that are left just conveniently for people to have for weapons. So they don't have to stress out about being caught with weapons until they get there. And there's a pile of them that are conveniently, who's paying for this? George Soros, people like him. And then you've got all these celebrities that are putting up bail money. Wasn't Kamala Harris doing that? Putting up money to get the people out, those poor looters, those poor peaceful protesters that smashed out windows and grabbed a bunch of Nike sneakers and a bunch of designer this and that. And here in Atlantic City, we had some looters and stuff. There is a medical marijuana dispensary called The Botanist. It's on the boardwalk. And yeah, they smashed that. They took the grow lights out. They took the plants out. They didn't destroy things just to destroy things. Somebody's got some good grow equipment now. Now, by the way, they have armed security. Too bad they didn't have that before all this stuff started. But now, I just want you guys to notice something, that Joe Biden won, and you could see the violence is still going on. Maybe not in Washington, D.C. right now, but if it's going on in Portland and it's going on in Seattle, So, obviously, just because your guy won doesn't mean that the violence and the unhingedness is stopping. And now you can see who's doing it. Now, do you see the source of all these problems? I guarantee you 97% of the inappropriate behavior that went on the 6th of January was Antifa and Black Lives Matter people and people dressed in our gear. There were a few that got carried away that were on our side, but the vast majority of them were people that were not on our side. I'm really glad I wasn't there that day. There's a part of me, I really would have liked to have been there, if not for COVID. That's the thing, is if it not for COVID, that is what stopped me from being there, okay? I couldn't risk exposing my mother to that. Other than that, I definitely would have gone. Oh, I want you to see something. I want you to see something cute. Okay. Get this. Right. No. I don't know how. I'm trying. Oh, here we go. You see that? Oh, look. Can't see it anymore. Oh. Tabby boy. My baby. Tabby boy. Oh. So yeah. So what are we gonna do? How are we gonna go through 4 years of this? I know I've been through 8 years of Obama. Now, speaking as a pro-choice woman, I could see, okay, so Roe will be safe. That's one cool thing. But I'm worried about the illegal immigration thing. I'm worried about the Muslim problem. I'm worried about the taxes. I mean, right now, because I'm poor, taxes aren't really going to affect me. But what happens if I go to a place where it's probably going to be this rampant illegal immigration, and say I've got that school bus that I've always been talking about, saying that I wanted to live in and everything, and I'm trying to live in it as cheaply as possible, as discreetly as possible. I want to have a solar panel on the roof because I don't want to be. I know that gassing up a vehicle costs a lot of money, and I've got to do this as cheaply as possible, and also as safely as possible. By not having it run on something explosive, then I'm not going to be safer in the event of a crash or something. I want something. I want a safe home, and I want, and by having solar panels, then I have something to run my litter robots so that the cats don't stink up the place. And I want to be able to run my electronics, and I want to be able to run this big freezer that my family has. I expect to bring that with me. And, that's going to have to run on electricity. This is the thing here. This thing here has little zebra stripe drawers that are are being washed as we speak. I'm going to bring this back in my room. I see the two of you. So I was going to go in the front room for something. It's really cold. I didn't even want to get dressed to film this. I wanted to. In the house right now, I have to wear a pair of fleece-lined trousers and like 3 shirts, one of them being a sweatshirt. But I have to wear 3 long-sleeve layers and sometimes a 4th. It's really chilly. So I like to get dressed nice for my videos for the most part. But today I almost was tempted to just wear close to what I was wearing since it was black. And I don't want to wear bright, festive, cheerful colors right now. Black just seems like the very most appropriate color that a person can wear, at least if you're one of the 75 million Americans that voted but whose voice was not represented. I'd still like to come up with a decision for how to most most accurately display my flags. I really have to think about what's right, because I want to express my discontent, but I don't want to be disrespectful. And while distress does sound tempting, there's degrees of distress. And as somebody who has experienced the terror of domestic violence and of home invasions and of street violence, random street violence, I don't want to trivialize such things. And I don't want to trivialize the need to have some kind of signage or some kind of symbols to ask for help. So I don't want to do anything that could be confused on those terms. That said, having a backdrop for one's YouTube channel, then it comes into things like First Amendment protections of free speech and freedom of expression. So I think when it comes to that, then there should be some leeway where it should be the discretion of the person involved. So maybe I have some more thinking on that. It can't be business as usual. It can't be just like any old case of, oh, my side didn't win, and I'm just going to lick my wounds for a while and go cry in a corner for a few minutes. It's not like that. I don't want to. I'm not planning on acting out in some undignified fashion, but I don't want to pretend that everything's okay, and I don't want to pretend that I'm cool about things. I wish I could say that I felt okay for our future, the future of our country, even my personal future these next couple of years, because I can't say that these bureaucratic changes that are no doubt going to happen as a result of a Democrat presidency, I don't know that that's going to help me for the things that I want to do. And I sure don't want to get stuck in this poverty thing where everybody's on the teat of the government. I don't need that in my life. I don't have any entitlements. Okay, I don't have any. The government doesn't have any hold on me except for my medical insurance. And heck, I don't even have a GP. Okay, so, but I just would like to find out about getting the vaccine as soon as possible. Well, my mother, I want her to get it. She is definitely under the 65 and older crowd, and people like her are supposed to be prioritized. After all the medical people get it who want it, then the older people need to get it. And there's so many places supposedly they're offered it. Walgreens would be convenient. The Atlantic Care Hospital would be convenient. The Atlantic City Convention Hall would be convenient. And by that they're meaning, though, I thought they meant Boardwalk Hall, but I think the Boardwalk Hall, they were doing some testing, but they were supposed to be administering the vaccine at the Atlantic City Convention Center. And when you say Atlantic City Convention Center, they mean when the train station, right next to the train station, it's the very foot of the Atlantic City Expressway, and that's the new Atlantic City Convention Center. And that's a bigger, more modern facility, but it's nothing compared to what they call Boardwalk Hall, which will, to me, always be Convention Hall. But you have to clarify just exactly which building when you're talking about specific places, because they're two distinctly different places. And if a person gets confused, you got about a mile of a walk, which is no big deal. But I still want that shot. I want to get my life back. I want to be able to travel again. I want to go back to Washington, D.C. and see my friends. I want to give them their Christmas gift. It's already been like a year and a half. But that said, I don't want to get my butt kicked by Antifa and the Black Lives Matter people. And it's going to be so sad to see the Black Lives Matter slogan painted right there on Pennsylvania Avenue. That's defacing. You've got a beautiful historic city, and I know that political movements shapes cities, and I know that town's politics tends to sway pretty overwhelmingly liberal. But still, it's sad. And I know that I'm not going to be able to keep my mouth shut when I walk around there and I see the changes. So maybe it's just as well that by the time it's safe enough for me to go there, I won't have an overwhelming excuse to be dripping head to toe in all my Trump stuff. But that said, I really love to express myself politically. That's one of the self expressions that's always been important to me. And since there are so many people that don't have the courage to do that, I feel duty bound to do it. I really enjoy representing, wearing my Trump gear, wearing my Trump face masks, and the different other Trump stuff. And you meet other people that believe in the same things as you. I'm sure the Democrats must feel a similar thing when you're wearing your gear and you see other people that wear their stuff. And it's a sense of belonging that makes everybody feel good. It's just like, wearing the sports team's insignia or wearing a shirt from a certain rock band. It feels good. I love to see people wearing Steelers stuff. Oh, I hear somebody crying. I wonder if Taddy Boy's got his baby. He's got this. What's the matter? Show us. Show us. What's the matter? What's the matter? You crying. You got your baby? You got your baby? He has this. I'll show you the baby. I'll show you his baby. Oh, it's not here. Maybe it's. Let's see. Let's see, Tabby boy. Is your baby there? Is your baby there? Let's see. Is your baby there? I can't. How can I do this with one hand? Let's see. Let's see if your baby's here. Oh, look! His baby's there! Do you see that? Different colored Here, I'm gonna get it out. I'm gonna set this down. There's even more boxes in the hall from when my parents, we got their stuff out. So there's so many things. Oh, look at this. His baby's here. Look at this. Can you see on the floor here? This is his baby. There's a number of these things, but this is the only one that's got the multicolored stuff. And I thought cats were colorblind, but apparently he's not. But sometimes you'll hear him crying in the middle of the night or different times of the day, and he'll have that carrying around in his paw, like you might carry a baby doll or maybe a child. I don't know if he didn't care about snapping their neck. So yes, Tabby Boy has a baby, and sometimes he acts like he might have be going senile, which I hope it's not. It's my baby. You know what? I am going to go in the front room. Check on something. I think I have another tomato that's ripened. Tabby Boy. Tabby Boy. What you doing? Tabby Boy. I see you. Tabby Boy. Tabby Boy. Hey. Let's check out my grow room. Oh, it's so cold in here. It is so cold. So the only way I could set this down is if I put it on a box so that the heat sink doesn't get blocked. Okay. I got this a couple months ago. I'm going to order this thing on wish.com. It's a pillowcase that says YouTube on it, and I'm pretty sure it'll fit this. I just got this a couple of days ago. It's a bit bigger, is by comparison, but this I just have on a pile here until I can get this stuff organized. I still want to get a couple of those under the bed, clear boxes that you can use to organize clothes and stuff. I'm not going to use it under the bed though. I'm going to just use that to organize some more stockings and some more clothes that I don't want to hang up, since hanging up clothes unnecessarily just causes too much weight on these wooden clothes poles. But that would enable me to organize some of these clothes instead of having these piles of clothes on the floor here. It's really ridiculous. And I shouldn't have too many things hanging up here because all the sunlight here is just going to bleach clothes out, and I don't want to do that. So, it looks like, don't tell me that I'm going to be out of weed again. Oh, man. This sucks. Oh, man. This is like empty. That is a shame. This and this little bit of powder from the grinder. And well, and I'm going to be good. I'm going to leave that for waking up tomorrow. So I thought I had a ripe tomato here. Oh, I do. Here. You want to watch me pick my ripe tomato? Let's see. Okay. Do you see here? Yeah. Red tomato. Okay. I'm going to get out of here. It's kind of chilly. While I safely put the tomato on the other hand. I'm going to put this tomato in the kitchen. I will leave it. And Tabby boy. Leave my Tabby boy. I see you. You want to see Tabby boy? I see Tabby boy. Here. Isn't that nice? Tabby boy. Can you see? Tabby boy. Yeah, see? See Tabby boy's face. Tabby boy! Oh, see that glow. Let's see that face. I see that face. Tabby boy. Tabby boy. Yeah. Alright. Well, it's getting kind of late. It's now 3:40 a.m. So I think it's about time for me to wash my face and take a shower and go to bed. So let me see if I can get my Cassie here. Okay. If you like this video, feel free to give it a thumbs up. If you like me and my content, I love that you subscribe. I make 3 new videos a week. I love to take you along with me on my adventures. And Cassie says goodbye. Bye bye. Oh.